Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Conversations with Kelly. And today I just want to discuss with you um, the multi dimensions of health and why can't I get better? Why is this happening and my life not changing and whatnot? And some of this is stuff that for most of us, once we just start talking about it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know that. And generally, it's common sense, but we as humans, most of us, don't take the time to work on all this stuff. And if you have anything going on in your life and you work on one or two, but you ignore the rest, you're not going to get to where you want to be, regardless of whatever it is. You know, whether you're working on furthering your education, whether you're working on getting through an illness, a new career, getting out of a toxic relationship, all that stuff. So, for to start with, I kind of want to talk about healing and the different dimensions of health. And I'm going to try to do this short and sweet so it's not too much information. But this stuff is huge, and I did not see any improvements, major significant improvements in my life until I started tapping into all of these and really working on all of them. You're not going to always be able to find balance because it's impossible to be perfect. But if you work on this stuff, you're going to notice a difference. For example, the first thing, your physical health. In most of this video, I'm gearing towards illness because I want to try to help people out there that are suffering and struggling and try to share with them what has worked for me. So the first thing is with that, getting through any kind of illness, whether it's cancer, let's say you just got diagnosed with diabetes, and that's a huge life change in itself right there. Physical. So what I mean by physical is working on your physical health. Even if you feel like crap, going for a 2-minute walk, whatever you can do. And on days that you feel better, mentally getting through that and pushing yourself to do something. Obviously, there's a limit. I mean, don't go and run a 5K when you feel like you're going to throw up, but you have to stay consistent. Try to keep your life as normal and as consistent as possible in routines. One day, hey, oh my gosh, you might be able to run a mile. The next day, you might be able to walk to get your mail. But try. Every day is a new day. You have to really push yourself and try every day. With physical comes nutrition. A lot of people think they're eating really good, but they're just kind of halfway of where they really should be. When I talk about physical and nutrition, talking about food allergies, organic foods, eating the right foods, watching your pH and your alkaline balance, really getting lots of nutrition. And if you do have a severe food allergy, watching it. I cut out gluten and dairy, and things right away started to get better. That's really critical right there. Your diet is so huge. Somebody might be eating carrots every day and they don't realize that there's a reaction going on. I mean, that's not very often, but people are allergic to avocados, carrots, bananas. It's normal, it happens. So, really understanding your diet and knowing what works for you is really critical and part of this process. Water, lots of water, tons of water, and good sources of water, not just garbage water, mountain water, reverse osmosis, once in a while distilled. And with all that too comes into play your supplements. There's certain basic essentials that you should take to keep, yourself healthy and your immune system up, but certain people are going to need certain requirements that other people don't need. For example, you've got 2 sick people. One person eats a well-balanced amount of fish, organic fish, free range, chicken. They do get protein sources. You need those aminos in the protein to rebuild your body. Then you have your second person who's sick who doesn't eat very much meat. They need to be getting protein sources from somewhere else. Otherwise, you're not going to get better. Each part of this is part of the puzzle piece, essentially. And we can look in and do videos more deeper on some of this stuff. But just for basics, I really, really, really recommend that you eliminate gluten and dairy if you're going through a really serious illness. It might seem shocking at first, it's a life change, but once you start going, it's really not that bad and you feel better. and it naturally helps with weight loss. It all around helps you. Another thing that I want to bring up, the second one, is emotional. Your emotional well-being. Do you have something going on right now that's affecting your healing? And with that emotional, there's so much stuff that can be held onto with that. Do you have past traumas? Do you have PTSD? Do you have something going on from when you were 3 years old? You've got to address all that stuff. Don't dive into it super, super heavy because that's intense, but start slowly and really work on all that stuff. That's really, really critical. Talk to somebody, maybe go and see a therapist. And with that, branch out into some other stuff, maybe try different intensive therapies within that are going to help you get better quicker. Sometimes acupuncture helps people. Sometimes massage helps open up whatever's going on emotionally for you. So that's really important, and with that, your stress levels are tied into that too, because if something's going on and you're not getting better, your body is always in that fight or flight response, and you're always like constantly in that fight, and your cortisol levels go up, you can't heal, everything gets put on hold. So all this stuff is super important. With that emotional, with the number 2, what I really recommend is doing breathing exercises throughout the day. Helps so much. Like breathe in for 3 counts, release for 4, or whatever works for you. But do that. Try to do little breathing exercises throughout the day and you'll feel a lot better. The next one I want to talk about is spiritual. Whether you're religious or not, if you're not religious, then work on your spiritual part. But with religion, even if you're super religious, you also want to be spiritual. And by spiritual, I more so mean like keeping an open mind and staying in the moment and trying not to let things bother you, and maybe using religion with that spirituality if that's your thing. So that's really important, and to try to, every day, or at least every day is ideal, but a few times a week or once a week, really, really focusing on your spiritual health, and with that, meditating or going to church or surrounding yourself with stuff that's going to help you with that. The next one is mental and intellectual. Humans need knowledge. Like that's part of who we are. Some of us more than others. With any kind of disease, it gets overwhelming and you don't want to completely spend all your time and all your energy, looking stuff up, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. But at the same time, it's really important to be educated and knowledgeable about what's going on with your body. If you don't understand the disease and what's happening, then how do you understand the treatment of it? As soon as I was like overloading myself with so much information for a while, but when I stood back and I looked at all the stuff that I was taking and that my doctor had told me to take, I took a step back, I did a little research. Just stop and kind of absorb and ask questions. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? What does this help with? And use that knowledge, because you might try something today that didn't work. Fast forward 2 months from now, you might try it again and it works. It just depends. So hold on to that information in your memory bank and keep notes too. Like I keep a lot of notes. When you take stuff, when you change things up, it's important to keep track so that you can kind of get an idea what's working and what's not. But intellectual is extremely important. And then the next one I want to talk about is social. On average, humans need about 6 hours of socializing a day to be healthy. That's a lot, but when you think about it in a work day, it's really not that much. 6 is a kind of a good balance depending on if you work at home or not. But it's really important to socialize. If you're really sick, FaceTime, text, send, anything. And for the people on the other side that are watching this that are healthy, be there for them. You have no idea what it feels like to lose your health. The number one thing that you really can't function without and you just can't have life without is health. Health is so important. So be there for each other. Be kind, help each other. The next one I want to discuss is Environmental. This is huge. So huge. This is something that I struggled with, but with environmental, I mean, we're not all growing money off our bodies. So sometimes it gets expensive and you have to live with people or you have to work somewhere or whatnot. But the basic underlying factor with all that is if you're trying to get healthy and you're trying to eat organic and you're trying to do everything, to get better, but you're in a home that's just garbage, you're going to constantly be going backwards. And it's going to be so much effort fighting that resistance that you're going to get frustrated and probably not want to keep going or cheat a lot more than you normally would on garbage food or whatever it is. So try to get the people around you to support you and it'll be a healthy change for them as well. If you're a mom or a dad, it's a great way to get the family healthier. So your environment's really huge, and that as well with your environment also comes, where are you working? Are you around toxic pollutants all day? That's not going to help you get better. Are you under a ton of stress at work? So that's super important. And one of the last things that kind of ties in with that is occupational. This is a big one because a lot of us can't always control, especially with everything going on right now and people losing jobs. Like, you kind of take what you can get if you can live off of it, depending on your scenario. Obviously you want to keep going and get the best job in the world, but sometimes it doesn't always work that way, or someone might not have an education, or you just feel so crappy that you can't change jobs. I was in that point for a long time. But it's something to work on. Every day is a new day. Baby steps, little things at a time, and stay positive. Even when you don't want to, do little things that make you happy. You're not feeling good, take a hot shower. Just stay positive. Thank you.